everybody. Welcome to the newest episode of the Debate Mates, where I'm here, joined again by Coach Stretch. And, let's just jump right into it. Well, actually, first, make sure to follow us on Instagram, at the Debate Mates. Subscribe, like, comment, give us ideas for our newest videos, because we're going to have a lot of playoff talk, and maybe you want to spice it up with some predictions, whatever you want. So let us know what type of stuff you guys want us to do. And now that we've got that out of the way, let's really get into it. Let's start it off with 2 Game 7s. Jazz Nuggets, Thunder Rockets both came down to the wire. So first, I'm just going to ask a question about the play style of those Game 7s. Do you prefer the 80-78 grind-out game, Jazz Nuggets, or I don't remember the score off the top of my head, but in the 100s with Rockets and Thunder, as a fan?
As a fan, of course, you like more scoring, but the defensive intensity on the Nuggets, Jazz in Game 7, because they weren't playing no defense at all for the first 6 games. So for them to both come out with a defensive mindset, it was good to see.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now, on the flip side of that, I actually did enjoy the OKC Houston series all the way through, except for the first 2 games, because they were like just blowouts. You know what I'm saying? But after that, it was like really, really competitive. I just felt like it was too much isolation play on both teams. And that is boring. For me, that's boring. Also, the referees in both of those Game 7s were allowing all 4 of these teams to play tackle football.
And let's not forget about, we'll get into this later, but also there was 2 controversial calls at the end of Bucks Heat last night.
Well,
we'll get into that a little bit later.
Yeah, we'll get into that later, but I'm talking about tackle football out there, man. Like, no pads on. Like, these people are like bum rushing through people, and there were no fouls being called. But the referees need to get consistent, and I'll just leave it at that before we get fined by the NBA or something else like that. I'll just leave it at that.
I'm very disappointed. I had the Thunder winning this series.
They should have won the series.
Chris Paul let them down in the
last
quarter.
2 minutes, yeah.
There were a couple plays where there was one that I really remember where I think PJ Tucker fell down and one other guy fell down. And Chris Paul got into the paint, and it was still a lot of time on the shot clock. And instead of pulling it out, they were down 1. He forced up a kind of bad shot where he couldn't even get his the correct hands on the ball. He was like,
he just kind of like threw it at the rim, right?
And then he didn't demand the ball enough. He missed a shot, and they also had horrible execution of their timeouts and their inbounds play.
God.
I understand Lou Dort is in the Kobe Bryant and LeBron James category now as far as youngest players to score 25 plus in a Game 7. But
listen,
they still had 2 timeouts, and the possession ended with Lou Dort shooting up a 3 with like 3 seconds on the shot clock.
I see, and this is what I'm saying, Billy Donovan.
Fired, please.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably not going to get fired because no one expected him to get that far.
Right.
So they're going to pat him on the back, But here's the thing. When that original play that he drew up, or if he even drew up anything, when it's down to under 7 seconds left to go in the game, and you see they're in a chaos mode, call the freaking timeout, man.
And Steven Adams was such a non-factor on that last possession.
Listen.
Was the play for Steven Adams to shoot a fadeaway 3?
Oh, my God.
He had an open lane. And I honestly don't think Steven Adams, I think he probably recognized it, but I think he was like, I got to run the play. Because I don't think they were looking for him at all. But that would have been the smart basketball play to do.
He didn't screen anybody, number one. Steven Adams, you're the biggest guy on the court. You have to screen somebody. And then on top of that, I didn't understand he was coming to the ball. He should have been going to the rim.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he should have been rolling to the rim. They maybe could have lobbed it up to him for an easy bucket. Billy Donovan gives me a headache.
I don't understand the late game lineups either, because there were times when Schroeder was not on the court for Lou Dort, and Dort was amazing on defense, and he shot the ball extremely well.
Right.
But I think everybody knew that when it comes down to the final 2 minutes, no matter how many shots he hit, that's Schroeder time.
Absolutely.
He's one of the clutchest guys in the league.
Absolutely. I thought, in my opinion, they was going to run 3-point guards at that time.
Yeah, I thought they should have done that with Dort and Gallinari. Yeah. Because Steven Adams didn't do much. He was like afraid to use his side.
He was just out there, man.
Yeah, I saw Twitter account Worldwide Wob, who tweets a lot of basketball stuff, and he said after that game, we can no longer call him Aquaman. It's now Aquafina, the water bottle brand, because he just stood there.
It was pretty bad.
Yeah, I was disappointed in my boy Aquaman. Took a lot of hits that series. He fell down more than anybody.
It was pretty bad.
And then
And it also showed that how unskilled he is.
right.
He is really unskilled. He's just big.
Yeah. And then what did you think about, so I was already to come in here and talk about how Harden and Westbrook, their legacies were ruined. Do you think that, or whose game would this have hurt worse, whose legacy, if they had lost, Harden or Westbrook?
Harden.
Definitely Harden.
Yeah, Harden. Because we know what Russell is.
Yeah.
We know what he is and what he's going to do and what he can do very well.
And you were talking about the first 2 games being blowouts. Those were the 2 games Westbrook didn't
right.
play in.
Absolutely.
And
Because,
then,
he clogs there. He can't shoot.
right. At all.
He can't shoot. Like, which was mind-blowing that they even made the trade anyway to get him. Like, what are you doing?
His play style honestly reminds me, or a younger version of his play style reminds me a lot of Lou Dort's play style. Because they're both the biggest guards on the court, like strength-wise. They're crazy explosive,
Right.
but they fall in love with the 3 too much. If
And they
Lou
can't
Dort
shoot
puts
it.
his mind into the gym and increasing his athleticism, which he's already extremely athletic, I think he
Right.
could have a Westbrook-type career. I think he can be that type of offensive player, and he's already better than him on defense.
I agree with that. But he can't be the star player.
Yeah, definitely not.
Like, he gotta. That's the problem with Russell. He's been thrust into this star player,
MVP,
yeah, and
one of
all
the
that
top
stuff.
players
Like,
in the
he gotta
league.
be right. He gotta be a star player, but he's not. He's a good sidekick.
Right.
He's a good sidekick with a.
Well, he's not even a good sidekick.
No, see, this is the problem. Harden also is a sidekick.
You think so?
Yeah, he's proven it over and over and over again. He's a sidekick. That's why he's coming off the bench in OKC to begin with. He's coming off the bench. He's not a superhero. He's a sidekick. He's the most impressive sidekick I've seen.
Well, but
He's a sidekick.
you can't put any better. There's no player in the
He
league
is
that's
Dick
better
Grayson.
than
He is Dick Grayson.
He's the boy wonder.
He's the boy wonder.
So, with the Rockets and Harden's late game block, do you think?
I wasn't impressed with him.
Do you think that? To be honest, okay. Well, so what are you gonna?
Were you impressed with James?
No.
No.
As he said in the post game conference, the press conference, the first thing he said was, "I played like."
Right.
You know what word I'm not gonna say, but.
Right. Poopy-doo.
Yeah, he even knew. He acknowledged the fact that he was a no-show.
He's bad. And in the playoffs, historically, he is bad.
Yeah.
And he gets worse as the series goes on.
And he got such a big rest. People were like, okay, you got 5 months off. This is prime Harden.
No.
And he had some good games.
Yeah. They all have good games.
It seemed like he played better when their games were on TNT than when they were on ESPN.
Listen.
I don't know, but that's just what I noticed.
That's just...
And
I
home
don't
court
know.
advantage is a real thing, by the way.
Absolutely.
Rockets won every home court game.
Ugh.
Speaking of the home court, I signed up to hopefully be a virtual fan of the Nuggets game. I signed one of the waivers. So, game 2 of Nuggets versus Clippers, hopefully I'm up there.
Okay.
Although, I'm not a Nuggets or Clippers fan.
Well, we know how
I'll
you
have
feel
to-
about the Clippers.
Yeah,
right
I'll
now.
wear my Celtics shirt and really throw them off. Best team in the East, but we'll get to them later. So, Thunder Rockets, we both agree Game 7, or at least the final minutes of Game 7, didn't maybe
Yeah.
live up to the hype.
Right.
A lot of
blunder.
craziness going around.
Blunder.
Yeah, so let's look ahead to OKC's future. In the next 5 years, is this team a contender in the next 5 years?
With a new coach, yeah.
And with all the draft picks.
Yeah. Here's my question for you: is Chris Paul going to retire a Thunder, OKC Thunder, a member of the Thunder?
He seemed to have a pretty good camaraderie with most of the guys, which is
'Cause they're
not
young.
something that you hear about with most Chris Paul teams.
Because they're young
Right.
and they will follow him.
I mean,
Because if he's on other, with peers, his leadership style,
Yeah.
is like real abrasive.
if someone is better than him or as good as him,
Right.
then
Yeah.
he wants to be the star. He wants to be the
I
coach.
wouldn't say that. I want to say that his standards, because the reason why him and Blake Griffin didn't get along is because Blake Griffin didn't work on his game.
Yeah, he wanted to be Hollywood.
Right. That's why they didn't get along.
Yeah.
DeAndre Jordan loved him, by the way. DeAndre Jordan was his friend. JJ Redick was his friend.
Right.
Most of the people on the Clippers were his friend, except for the other peer star who didn't work on his game.
Yeah.
And then you go to Houston, and
Harden's the same way.
Harden's the same way. He doesn't really he'll shoot on his offensive game. He'll work on his offensive game, but he won't work on his game
Yeah, as a whole.
as a whole. And Chris Paul hates that. Like,
Yeah.
if you're gonna be a star, like, you gotta live up to the hype. And Chris Paul hates that stuff.
So let's just move on to the next series because I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't remember what we've been talking about.
Celtics.
Celtics and Raptors. Celtics up 2-0. Since I'm one of the Beantown boys, I'll get us started off. They look like, to me, I think it's going to be them and Heat in the conference finals. Let's get that out of the way first. Bucks have not shown up. Raptors have not shown up. But let's also not count out the Raptors whatsoever. There's a reason I said they were going to be to the finals, and I saw it more in the end in Game 2. And the Celtics cannot rely on Marcus Smart to carry them through the fourth quarter. He scored 16 straight points for the Celtics in the fourth quarter. If you take away those, the Celtics were cold. Kemba was having a bad night.
Right.
Tatum was him. Brown was himself.
I mean, that's an anomaly. You know, that's
Right.
an anomaly. But, however, like, the Celtics are really good.
They are. They have so many pieces.
They are really good. And for someone to say that they're going to shut them down, I don't see it. Like,
Yeah.
they have 4 guys that can get you over 20 points.
Especially when Hayward comes back.
I think he should just stay where he at.
What, out of the bubble?
Yeah.
I do like the starting 5 better with Marcus Smart in it, but Hayward gives him a punch off the bench that no other team can duplicate.
I agree with that, but I think Hayward might mess up the flow
Well,
unless he's coming off the bench. Like
Right,
you
I
said.
think that's where I would see him coming in just to add some 18 points off the bench, kind of play like the
Right.
Lou Will role
Right.
for the Celtics, and then he can finish the game because he's a better facilitator than Brad Wanamaker, who plays point for them off the bench. And I think he would fit really well with the Time Lord Robert Williams.
I agree.
Pick and roll,
I
getting
agree.
Hayward open, throwing some alley-oops. That's
I
kind
agree.
of his bread and butter as far as being a facilitator.
I agree.
So I see them working together well off the bench. And I mean, the Celtics haven't even used Dennis Kanter yet. And he's one of the better offensive bigs in the league.
Well, I don't think they really need him right now.
They don't, because Robert Williams has been amazing.
Right. I mean, they went to a more defensive-oriented
Right.
lineup. You know, well, bigs anyway.
Yeah.
Using Daniel Theis and Robert Williams, they're more defensive-minded guys who can finish around the rim. You know, offensive rebound, clean-up crew. And it's Cannon, like you can like throw it to him and he'll score.
Right.
But
He's
on
better
defense-
against like an Embiid.
Right. So I mean, I love their game plan. Again, that goes to the coaching of Brad Stevens. Like I love their game
That's
plan.
what I was going to ask you. Is it fair to say that Nick Nurse has been outcoached by Brad Stevens this year?
This year. But I also think that it is a really bad matchup because Pascal Siakam, as much as we love Pascal, he cannot defend
Right.
Tatum or Brown.
And he can't score on Tatum or Brown. They're
No.
too long, they're too athletic.
Right. And he can't score on Smart either.
Yeah.
So those are the 3 people that get matched up with him.
And when the Raptors need their bench court of Lowry and Van Fleet to be amazing because they are too small to have them
They
out on
are
the court at the same time,
Right.
guarding Walker and 6'7" Jaylen Brown.
This is where they miss that guy.
Yeah, who we don't like to talk about.
Right. This is where they miss that guy.
Yeah,
But
the Karate Kid.
Right. This is where they miss that guy against a team like this.
Right.
But against any other team in the East, you get by, you can do your thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And you can always hide one of those guys on Marcus Smart. He's not going to do a whole lot.
Right.
But I don't know. Van Fleet and Lowry are both exceptional defenders, but Kemba Walker is he's going to score on anybody.
Yeah, he is.
And then they're too small because Marcus Smart is bigger than Lowry and Van Fleet.
Mm-hmm.
So one of them is always going to be a no-show. And then whoever is guarded by Kemba will have a little bit more of a chance to get hot offensively. But as long as
Right.
you're taking one of those two out of the picture, Siakam isn't doing much in the half court.
Right.
OG Anunoby isn't doing much unless you can set up a corner 3 for him. And Gasol can facilitate, but he's not going to post you up and get a
No,
bucket.
that's not his role.
Yeah, so the Celtics have figured out how to perfectly contain the Raptors offense.
They're a bad matchup for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
Now-
same thing with the Heat and Bucks.
Another bad matchup
It's
there.
a bad matchup for them.
We just talked about out-coaching. Has Jimmy Butler outplayed Giannis?
Absolutely.
Yeah, easily.
Absolutely. I mean, that ain't even close. Like,
I'd like to see when I see the memes where it's like Giannis if he were 6'5" and it's him in like a Red Robin
Yeah,
uniform, like
like-
Sir, may I take your order?
this ain't even close. Like
Yeah.
Jimmy has game 1 he showed what kind of offensive threat he could be.
Yeah,
Game 2 he showed what we know him to be, the defensive threat, the
And
defensive
the biggest
stopper.
thing, he didn't have a great offensive game. Didn't have a great game really. But Doris Burke said that he saw Jimmy go to the bench during a timeout and asked Coach Spoelstra, "Can I guard Giannis? I want to guard Giannis."
Yeah.
And when in game 1, when a reporter said, "Giannis, why didn't you want to guard? Did
This guy
you guard
said
Jimmy Butler?" He said, "Why would you ask me that?
He gonna do what the coach tell him to.
You're the defensive player of the year."
Reigning MVP.
And then he fouled Jimmy Butler on the final shot, where he should have been guarding him. He shouldn't have even come over to help.
No.
That should have been him on Jimmy.
Yeah.
The length, he's perfect to guard Jimmy to stop him. Bam Adebayo fouled out. There's no reason he needs to be guarding anybody else.
This guy was guarding Jay Crowder. Jay Crowder. I can't with Giannis. I just can't. Like, I'm so disappointed in this man right now.
Has Dragic been outplaying Giannis?
Yeah. I mean, they all been playing. Like, he plays so good team basketball.
He's a perfect point guard.
Absolutely.
And then this is another question I heard on another podcast I was listening to the other day, where Bill Simmons, who's a huge Celtics fan, said he thinks the best big three left in the bubble is Kemba, Brown, and Tatum.
That's a big three.
After these last few Heat games, they might not be the most talented, but Goran, Jimmy, and Bam, do they have any say in that, or could they be number 2, knocking on the door for number 1?
Less talented, but
right.
yeah. I mean, they're really good together. Because they got the guy, Tyler Hero, man. Jeez. That kid can play, man.
And he's got the most confidence in the world.
That kid can play, man. And he's playing defense. Like, he's really giving his all on defense. Like, that kid can play, man. I'm impressed. Like I said, I'm impressed. Like, I early on, I did say they were going to be a top team.
Yeah, but your main reasoning for that was you're like they got James Johnson.
Right.
They're going to be a top team.
I didn't say James. Did I say James?
You said James Johnson. I was like,
Jesus.
I think he got suspended, or they cut him, and you're like, what? No.
Yeah. I didn't foresee all of this, but I do like the leadership style of Jimmy Butler.
No one could have foreseen this. Duncan Robinson is an elite 3-point shooter.
Yeah.
Tyler Hero, it looks like he's going to be in Rookie of the Year conversation. And maybe All-Star for the years to come.
Yeah, I like Tyler.
Duncan Robinson, was he robbed of Most Improved Player? I don't know.
I don't even know if he was in the league last year.
Yeah, he got cut from Team USA.
Yeah, I don't even know if he was.
Their starting center was Plumlee.
Yeah, I don't know nothing about that.
So, I mean, they had so many guys just come out of nowhere.
Right.
And they have the perfect, you kind of have Houston has their perfect small ball lineup.
Right.
This is the exact lineup Jimmy Butler envisioned.
Right.
Jay Crowder there alongside him at power forward.
Right.
Goran Dragic is, Shaq said that.
And then Bam, who's like maybe 6'10", maybe.
Yeah.
But he's like the most athletic 6'10" dude. And playing center, I've seen it in. Like, since maybe, Dwight? But he can shoot, though. Like, Bam can shoot and he can dribble.
He had a step back free throw line jumper to seal the game yesterday. Or to seal the game, and then everything went crazy.
Like, that kid can play, man.
Yeah, so when we did our top 25 video, you had him outside of your top 25.
I did.
Would you replace him with a guy you had at 25 and Chris Middleton?
Bye-bye, Chris.
Yeah, he's been disappointing. The whole Bucks team has been disappointing.
But this is what happens when you can't just ride one guy.
Right.
Not in today's NBA.
Yeah.
You just can't do it.
Unless that one guy is Luka, KD, who can do it from everywhere.
Right. Those are the type of guys. But even Luka, I mean, if Porzingis plays that series, I think we having a different conversation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? KD, the same thing. Like, when KD had consistent quality help, they went to the finals.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta have some help, man.
Yeah, I think this team reminds me a lot. This Bucks team reminds me of the Raptors the year before they got Kawhi.
DeRozan.
They have such an amazing lineup. You ask yourself, how do these teams not make it to the finals year after year? And you say they have great coaches, always in Coach of the Year discussion.
Right.
But they don't want to change.
Yeah.
Budenholzer, when he was 60 wins with Atlanta, they were a 3-and-D team. That's the same exact formula he's brought to Milwaukee. And it didn't work with Atlanta. It's not going to work with Milwaukee.
It's not going to work.
They don't want to change.
Yeah.
And they don't have stars that you can rely on night in and night out when the game gets tougher.
Right.
I mean, Giannis is one of the least reliable players in a situation like this when the court shrinks.
He won't shoot the freaking jump shot.
And he can't shoot free throws either.
I don't know. And they about to give him the MVP again. Like,
if they don't give him the MVP real soon, it's going to get really awkward.
This is bad.
He's not showing up.
This is bad.
I mean, he was guarded by Derrick Jones Jr. yesterday. And Derrick Jones Jr., he's a good defender, but that dude is skinny as rail.
Yeah.
Giannis should overpower him every time.
He didn't want no parts of it.
I think one of my favorite moments from the series so far is Bam Adebayo just moved Giannis out of the way and went up for a dunk. I think it was game 1. He missed the dunk, but he just cleared Giannis out.
Yeah, just get out of the way, man. Watch out.
All right, D-boy.
Yeah, watch out, yo.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not a good look. If he wins the MVP, which they're probably going to give it to him, It's not a good look for the NBA.
We agree he deserved regular season MVP.
Yeah,
but now
but
we're
this-
getting to a point where it's,
this is not a good
he
look.
might not be in the conversation next year.
No, it can.
Yeah.
He can. He'll be back-to-back MVPs and getting put out in the second round. No. The only MVP that deserved to get put out in the first or second round was that Russ-led Thunder team.
Triple-double, yeah.
Triple-double guy with Oladipo. They just didn't have enough.
Yeah.
And everybody knew they didn't have enough.
No one predicted them to be anything.
Right.
Kind of like the Chris Paul situation this year, except numbers were not as impressive.
But this guy, nah.
He's got the stats.
Nah.
He passes the eye test.
Yeah.
But you watch him play.
Nah, man.
Especially when a team knows how to defend him.
This is bad.
Yeah. So moving on to the Western Series, we've got a series starting tonight with the poor Nuggets, who only get one night off.
Yeah, that's bad, man. I feel bad for them.
The perfectly rested Los Angeles Clippers.
I feel bad for them. But after this first game, I think they'll settle in.
Right.
But, if the Nuggets use their huge lineup, they're a problem for the Clippers.
I loved Jokic, how he played last game, because he's such a team-oriented guy, but I think Jamal Murray is not the best player on the team. I'm a top 10 guy. I'll hit the game winner.
I think Murray burnt out.
Yeah.
You
can't blame him. 50, 42, 50.
Yeah, he had 3 games in a row just phenomenal.
Right.
And he just burnt out. Jokic finally played like he belonged in the top 10 discussion.
Yep.
And that's just what we were used to seeing from Jokic in previous situations like that.
Yeah.
So he was the focal point in the Game 7, which he probably should have been
every game.
But, I think the Gobert thing is a tough matchup for him, though, because Gobert has such long arms.
He's so much stronger than Gobert. Even skinny Jokic still has, he can still back him down pretty well.
But Gobert has long arms.
Yeah, not long enough to block the Jokic.
Right. But the hook shot, I mean, he's skilled.
He's skilled.
He's skilled.
I mean, yeah, he's a player that you can build around. Doesn't maybe have the talent of a Batman, but he has to be a Batman, I think.
Yeah, definitely. He's Batman.
Yeah.
He's Batman.
Yeah.
Murray is. It's kind of hard to say he's a co-star, but I mean he's legit.
I think I said it on. I don't know if I said it on an episode of the Debate Mates or if I texted it to you, but can you tell me right now what's the difference between Jamal Murray and Trae Young, other than the roles they play on their teams? What's the difference between their skill set, what they can do on the court? What's the difference?
I don't see a whole lot of difference.
Trae Young just takes more shots.
Trae Young shoots a lot.
Maybe he's a little less injury prone.
Yeah, a whole lot of shots.
Is that the only difference, though?
I think so. I think so.
So I'm gonna throw a couple players at you that are all kind of in the playoff discussion right now.
Okay.
And I want you to rank them. It might be a little difficult. So we've got Trae Young, Jamal Murray, Jaylen Brown, and Spider Mitchell.
Okay. Spider Mitchell is amazing. Okay, so I'm gonna go. Okay. On pure skill set wise, or are we just talking about overall?
Just overall best player. Best to worst. You can go worst to best, whatever ranking you want to go.
Okay, I'll go worst up. Okay, so Trae Young is at the bottom.
Okay.
Because his the way he plays and uses his skill set doesn't translate to winning.
Right.
So Trae Young's at the bottom. Then we go up to, I guess we'll go Spider Mitchell next. No. Murray is next.
All right.
Murray is next. Followed by Jaylen Brown and then Spider Mitchell.
I would kind of have it the same way. I think I would have Murray last just because we're putting a lot of hype into what he's done in 4 games this series.
Well, he's just coming off an injury too. Though.
Right, but we forget he had a 12 and a 14 in there as well. So I would have him last. Then I'd have Trae Young.
Okay.
Then
Trae Young didn't even make the playoffs, man.
That's true, but Trae Young,
He didn't make the playoffs, man.
Then I put.
He didn't even get invited to the bubble.
He didn't even get invited to the bubble for the bad teams.
Facts.
Then I'll put in Spider Mitchell.
Okay.
And then on top, I'll put Jaylen Brown, just because I think overall, defense, offense, he is the most well-rounded out of the group.
I think we saw some defense out of Spider Mitchell.
We did. He took the challenge to guard Murray. That's why he struggled so much in Game 7 at times.
Game 7, yeah.
Because Donovan Mitchell took the challenge.
Right.
All right, now let's get to our final series real quick. Lakers versus Rockets, small ball Rockets, playing tomorrow night, so they also get one night of rest.
Yeah.
Oh, and actually, real quick, what were our predictions for Clippers Nuggets?
I think Clippers win in 6.
I'll go Clippers in 6 as well. Now we've got Lakers Rockets. Let's start with our predictions, and then
Lakers in 6.
I'll go.
Don't say nothing.
Rock.
Don't you dare. Don't you dare.
I mean, I could see an upset coming, but I think the Lakers win. They're just all around a better team. I'll go Lakers in 5.
Okay.
I think the Rockets are burnt out. Harden didn't play well in his last game.
And he gets worse as the playoffs get better. He gets worse.
What's the lineup the Lakers go to that they'll have a lot?
The depth lineup.
Do they have JaVale in the center to start the games?
Yeah, they're gonna start with JaVale, but then he'll play just like in the end of the last series, he'll play 10 to 12 minutes.
Yeah, Harden and Westbrook are both gonna have to average at least 30.
That's not gonna happen.
Yeah, Lakers defense is too good. But then again, who guards Westbrook and who guards Harden? Do they have two guards?
You put KCP. You put KCP on one, and you put Danny Green on the other.
All right, but Harden made light work of anyone that was not named Lou Dort.
That's fine.
So you're gonna let him get his, and then right? Because in the last game, Game 7, Covington and Eric Gordon were the ones that really saved the Rockets with their big performances.
Absolutely.
If they get hot, it's game over.
Right. So we concentrate on no corner threes from PJ and from Eric.
Right.
And you can play.
And Anthony Davis can kind of neutralize that right corner to corner.
Right.
I would like to see, this is a matchup that I know will not happen, but I kind of want to see Anthony Davis guard James Harden. I think that would be fun.
I mean, they're going to get switched out.
Yeah, definitely.
Because they're going to run some ball screen action. And when we have Anthony Davis playing the 5, he can guard him for 2, 3, 4 dribbles maybe.
Right.
Maybe 3 dribbles.
And I think the Rockets do have more of an advantage than the Blazers do. They have so many players that can guard.
Guard who?
Not lock them down, but at least stay in front of. A solid job of containing LeBron.
Are you serious right now?
Covington, Tucker.
See, but Covington plays like the 5 for them, so he got to check JaVale, Anthony Davis, Dwight Howard.
The Lakers are gonna be. It's gonna be a Lob City in the bubble.
Right.
The Lakers are playing.
Right. So stay in front of who?
Danny Green.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Maybe lock up Quinn Cook.
Yeah, exactly. Stay in front of who? You're a funny kid, man.
All right, so that will wrap it up for our second episode of our playoff predictions.
Yeah, man.
Be back soon for some more to update you guys on what's going on. Maybe by then we'll have a conference finals if the Celtics and Heat somehow manage to sweep the 1 and the 2 seed.
Man,
that would be pretty crazy. That'd be a series I could definitely get excited
We'll
for.
have NBA champs in the next 35 days now.
Yep. So please don't be the Clippers. Please be the Celtics. I have my new hierarchy of teams. So Celtics,
Okay.
Thunder, Mavericks. Top 3, 100%.
All right.
And then I got the Nets in there a little lower. Because I still, KD's my guy, always. No matter how many Twitter wars he gets into.
KD gonna get you in trouble, man.
Alright, so that'll wrap it up for today's episode of the Debate Mates. I hope you enjoyed. Hopefully our predictions are correct. Hopefully mine are correct. Hopefully the Rockets beat the Lakers.
It's not gonna happen, man.
And hopefully the Nuggets beat the Clippers as well.
Well, I am pulling for the Nuggets. I'm not gonna lie. I am pulling for the Nuggets. I don't like the way the Clippers play.
I don't either. So we'll see you guys next time on the Debate Mates.
Boom, boom.